Good evening. This is Digital Vermin. Welcome to tonight's episode. If you enjoy the unknown, consider liking and subscribing. Now, let's get into it. I've gone back and forth on whether I should even write this. Part of me feels stupid putting it online, like it'll read as paranoia or some overactive imagination. But every winter, when the wind starts screaming through the trees and the snow piles up against the windows, I think about that night. And I don't sleep much. I was 16 then. It was just me and my mom in a small house on the edge of town. The kind of place where the streetlights thin out and the woods creep close enough to brush the backyard fence. She'd raised me alone my whole life. My dad left before I was old enough to remember his face, so it had always been the two of us. We were close in that quiet, practical way single parents and their kids often are. She worked long hours. I learned early how to make my own dinner, lock doors, and not panic when the house made noises. That night, a blizzard rolled in fast. The forecast had mentioned snow, but nothing like what actually hit. By sunset, the world outside was already erased, just white wind and darkness. Power flickered but didn't go out, and by 10, my mom was exhausted. She took some cold medicine, kissed my forehead like she always did, and went to bed early. I stayed up in my room, headphones on, scrolling through random videos. The wind howled so loud it rattled the siding. At some point, I took my headphones off because I kept thinking I heard something underneath the storm. That soft, off-rhythm sound that doesn't belong. I told myself it was branches, or the fence, or snow hitting the house at the wrong angle. Then I heard a knock. Not loud, not urgent, just 3 slow taps from somewhere below me. I froze, counting my breaths. No one knocks during a blizzard. No one sane anyway. I checked my phone, 12:41 a.m. My mom was asleep. I could hear her faint snoring through the wall if I focused. Another knock came, this time clearer. From the front door. I crept to my bedroom door and opened it an inch. The hallway was dark, but the light over the stove downstairs was still on, casting a dull glow up the stairwell. The knocking came again, slower now, like whoever it was had all the time in the world. I whispered, "Mom," but my voice barely carried. I didn't want to wake her unless I had to. She worked 6 days a week. I told myself I was being dramatic. Then the door handle rattled. That sound stripped away every excuse I had. Someone wasn't just knocking. They were testing the door. I felt my stomach drop, my hands starting to shake. I locked my bedroom door without thinking, then realized how useless that would be if they got inside. I grabbed my phone and texted my mom even though she was in the next room, "Someone's at the door." No response. Downstairs, the rattling stopped. For a few seconds, there was nothing but wind. I remember thinking maybe they'd given up. Maybe they were drunk or lost. A heavy thud hit the door, hard enough to make the frame creak. I jumped back, clamping a hand over my mouth. Another thud followed, then another. Each one felt closer somehow, even though I was upstairs. My mom's bedroom door opened. I heard her voice thick with sleep calling my name. Before I could answer, glass shattered. The sound echoed through the house, sharp and violent. Not the front door. Something else. A window. My mom swore under her breath and told me to stay in my room. I cracked the door open just enough to see her grabbing her phone, her face pale in the dim light. That's when I heard footsteps inside the house. Not rushed, not panicked, slow, heavy, crunching faintly like snow being crushed under boots. My mom saw my door open and hissed at me to lock it. She whispered that she'd called 911, that police were on their way, but the storm was bad. It might take time. The footsteps moved through the living room. A shape passed briefly through the glow of the kitchen light. Tall, hunched, dripping snow onto the floor. I couldn't make out a face, just a dark outline, wrong inside our house. Something scraped along the wall, metal on paint. I realized with a sick certainty that they were holding something. My mom backed into her bedroom, pulling the door closed. I locked mine and pushed my dresser in front of it, heart hammering so hard I thought it might give me away. The footsteps started up the stairs. Each step creaked, deliberate, unhurried, like they knew we were trapped. like the storm had given them all the privacy they needed. They stopped outside my door. I stared at the handle, waiting for it to turn, waiting for the lock to fail. I don't remember breathing. I remember thinking about how stupid it was that I'd never asked my mom to teach me how to defend myself. How I'd never even held a bat. The handle twitched. Then my mom screamed. The sound ripped through the house, raw and terrified. The footsteps rushed away from my door, pounding toward her room. I heard a crash, wood splintering, my mom shouting, and something heavy hitting the floor. I don't know how I found the courage, but I yanked my door open and ran. I grabbed the nearest thing, a lamp, and sprinted down the hall. Police sirens cut through the storm just as I reached my mom's room. The intruder bolted. I heard the back door slam open, wind roaring in, footsteps disappearing into the snow. By the time officers arrived, there was nothing but broken glass, muddy footprints, and a crowbar lying in the hallway. My mom had a bruise on her arm and a cut on her cheek. She wouldn't stop shaking. Neither would I. They never caught whoever it was. The footprints vanished under fresh snow within minutes. No neighbors saw anything. No cameras caught a face. We moved 3 months later. I'm older now. I live in an apartment with reinforced locks and no nearby woods. But sometimes, late at night, when the wind rattles the windows just right, I swear I hear 3 slow knocks. And I don't open the door. Thank you for joining me tonight on Digital Vermin. If you enjoyed the story, consider liking and subscribing. More unsettling tales await, so stay tuned. Until next time, be careful where you wander.